Welcome to the Hey Hot Mama podcast. I'm Jen Peralt, founder of Hot Off the Rack and Hot Mama Collective.
And I'm Liz Guidotti, Jen's mom, also known as the OG Hot Mama.
We're a mother-daughter duo having real conversations about motherhood, health, life, and finding more joy in the everyday moments.
And Jenny is known for her positive outlook and daily gratitude practice. And together, we're here to share stories, perspective shifts, and plenty of laughs along the way.
Because at the end of the day, we all deserve to feel like the hot mamas we truly are. Welcome to the Hey Hot Mama podcast. I'm Jen Peralt of Hot Off the Rack and Hot Mama Collective.
And I'm Liz Guidotti, better known as Jen's mom.
We are on our third episode today. And if you're new here, you can expect gratitude practices, perspective shifts, wellness wisdom from my mom, because this is a mother-daughter duo here. And we want you to leave our podcast, our hangout sessions, if you will, feeling happy, inspired, motivated. And speaking of perspective shifts, that's actually what we're talking about today.
Does something need to shift?
Yes, right here. This you're going to see some shifting today. And I want to dedicate this episode to you because most people they may not realize that I'm the really positive one here. You might bring in your health and wellness wisdom, but I bring in the joy. I'm here to bring you a joyful world.
So you have brought me joy throughout my life. Is that what I'm to believe?
So much joy.
I think we need to review some of the childhood aunties that you did. Not all of them were joyful.
No, but you know what? I'm going to teach you how to reframe those situations. Are you ready? Are you ready?
So you're going to teach me. Okay,
I am.
I hope
you.
that I'm a better student than you were a student when I was trying to teach you things. So
yeah, let's also hope that. I do. I agree with that. We're going to start with gratitude habits. And we talked about this in the last episode. You know, I keep my gratitude journal and I gave you a gratitude journal.
You did.
Have you been using it?
I'm going to start. I thought about it. Does that count?
In the last episode, you were talking about all these habits that we have to build up. And this is a habit that you have to build. Okay, let's hear.
I've thought about using it. And as soon as I find it, I am going to start using it. That is, so I think, can I have a little gratitude for thinking about it?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for
Let's
thinking.
Be grateful for that.
Thank you for thinking about it. I do want you to go back to episode 2 if you didn't listen to it, because I really take you through exactly how I write in that gratitude journal. But I do start my day every morning with gratitude. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I don't have time in the morning because I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old and gratitude.
Did you this morning?
No, I did not. And that's but you know what? Let's do it right here. So let's talk about 3 things that I'm grateful for, because that's always the first thing that I write down. I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. Or actually, I take that back. The first 3 things that I write down are 3 good things that happened yesterday. So I put myself in a good mindset of good things that have already happened. And I would say 3 good things that happened yesterday are Beck started his first flag football practice.
I want to see that.
He had so much fun. And while I was there at that practice, I just felt so grateful that my husband was there, my other son was there, and Beck was just having such a fun time. And I'm like, he doesn't even know how lucky he is to be here on this field with all these friends and athletic ability, because I was not blessed with that athletic ability.
Well, let's just say you didn't try. Okay. Let's continue.
Beck tries, and I love that. So that is one good thing that happened yesterday. Another good thing that happened yesterday, I decided to step back. I don't even know if I told you this. I was the lieutenant for my Mardi Gras float for the past 5 years. And I decided to step back because I have so many other things going on in my life. And I can't do everything and do it all well. And I cannot half-ass anything. So I was like, I'm going to step back. And I have another person in place who's going to do a great job. And I felt so free. A part of me was worried that I might feel FOMO because I love to be in charge.
Yeah, but you did it. You did it. You spent your time doing it. Now move on to something else, maybe more important to you at this time.
And then the third good thing that happened yesterday was you and I got together to feel prepared for this podcast today. And
I hope it shows.
Yeah. And as far as gratitude for this morning, on my way here, I was thinking, and I texted my mom this too, that we are so lucky to be in a position where we can help other people have a better mindset. You are
I hope you
you
do.
are speaking to your life that you have lived and have prioritized health and fitness and what
Yeah.
it has done for you now. And so many people have gotten to witness that. And we get to have a show where we talk about that and where we can inspire and motivate people.
Yeah. Hopefully it does. Yeah.
And that's what I'm grateful for this morning. And then I also end my day with gratitude. And I do this with my kids as well. We lay in bed
Oh, that
every
is
night.
so great. I didn't know that.
Every night
I
we lay in
love
bed.
instilling that habit in them at a young age.
Yes, I made
applaud.
up my
I take
own.
back all the bad things I said
Thank
about you as a mom.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
say our prayer every night, and we all four of us say it because, well, we'll get to that. But we say, "Dear God, please keep all of our friends and family safe and healthy, and thank you for a good day." And then we always thank him for a good day because it was always a good day if we are laying in bed that night together. It was a good day,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
And we'll ask them what made their day good. You know, sometimes, they're little boys and they're like, it was good because it was. Or
and that's okay.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's fine. It's just the fact that you ask, I'll
They're
answer, I'll
thinking
say
about
what
it,
made
they're
the
saying
day good. And sometimes Blake's like, Jen, come on, wrap this up. It's time to go to sleep. But you know what? We at least thank God for a
Yes.
good day. We knew
Yes.
it was a good day. And if something didn't go well, you think about what can go better tomorrow. So you can recognize things that didn't go well that day
Mhm.
and think about how you can start fresh tomorrow and have the opportunity to improve on those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Do
okay.
you do
That's
this?
something
Do you
to
do any of this?
remember, I'm going to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want me to show you my homework next time we do the
I
podcast?
do.
Okay.
That's perfect.
All right.
That's a great idea. In
I
fact, we can both give each other homework at the end of the episode.
Oh, good.
Yes. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to choose joy in everyday moments. And when I say that, I mean romanticize the little things. Have more of a childlike sense where in the morning, sometimes my kids are sitting at breakfast and the sun is reflecting on the chandelier and it's making rainbows all
Yeah.
over the room. And they're
They
like,
love
Mom,
that.
look at the rainbows. Or when Brooks gets in the bathtub and he's so excited to feel the water, which remember I told you when I get in the shower, I do that too. Like enjoy those little things because not everyone is so lucky to have those. And I know that sounds silly to say get excited to get in the bathtub, but like
No, it's remembering to appreciate that again and be grateful for it. I think it's super important.
yeah, and you just want to romanticize every little thing in the morning because that's when it really starts. That's how you
And that
set
affects
your
the rest
day.
of your day.
It does, yes.
It puts it in motion.
Yeah, and so I get up in the morning, and this is actually new. I would say maybe about 6 months ago, I started waking up at 5:30 every morning. And if my husband's listening to this right now, he's like,
He's going, she's lying.
yeah. But there have been mornings where I give myself
Well, do you wake
grace.
up and go back to sleep? Because I can do that.
No, it's not that.
Okay.
It's that, well, firstly, the time change recently threw me for a loop and it's hard to get up at 5:30. And then there's times where I like to stay up and binge watch a show every once in a while. So I'm tired the next morning and
Sure.
I'm like, it's okay. I can take a break today.
Yes.
But for the most part, I get up at 5:30 in the morning. And it's funny, a lot of my friends do too. So we're all texting each other. Like this morning, I had about 6 text messages waiting for me from different people because we all wake up at that time.
Uh-huh.
And I have my coffee and I make my son's lunch and I go sit in my office. And normally I would do the gratitude journal. This morning, I was doing a little bit of work because I knew I was coming to do the podcast. And I felt lucky. I felt peaceful.
As you should. Sure.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
I allowed myself to. I could have, and don't get me wrong, I'm human. When the
No,
morning
I
is
refuse to believe that.
When the morning is stressful, I feel it. I do. But for the most part, I am just looking for the joy in small moments and I'm dwelling on them too.
Jenny, I think that you are. And I think you were like that as a child too.
Ah,
so I
I'm
am
so glad to
glad
hear that.
that as an adult,
I kept it.
yes, and that you're conscious of keeping it. You're thinking
And
about
I
it.
think we also mentioned this whenever we were talking about the gratitude journal in last episode, that my grandmother is like this. She appreciates every little thing. Every little thing, every little detail.
She
In
does.
fact, I had my whole family over for Thanksgiving and I decorated the dining room. And my grandmother goes in there and she was like, I am so happy you live here and that you love to set the table. Like it made her so happy the way that I did the napkins, and she just appreciated little details.
Because
like
I think that gene skipped her children. So to see her grandchildren do it, she was very, very impressed.
And another reason why it's really important to notice all of these little joyous moments is because when you're going through challenging times, you need to be able to see that joy still.
Find something. Find a joy.
Because that is how you survive those challenging times. And I talked about this recently on a podcast with my friends, Christina and T from Pretty in Pink podcast. They had me on and I talked about letting joy live in hard times. Because I feel that so many people worry that if people seeing them having a good time when they're going through something really tough, whether it's someone in their family is sick, maybe they're going through a divorce, maybe they lost their job, and they feel that if it looks like they're having a good time, that people are going to judge them for it because it's as if it's inappropriate to feel happy when you're experiencing loss. But really, the best way to get through that is to feel the joy.
Right.
And to notice all of these small little things. Those are habits, right?
Yeah.
And that's how
that's what you're going to rely on.
Yes.
That's what you're going to fall back on. And you mentioned it's you should be happy. Try to find moments of happiness because eventually you have to build that back.
Right.
That's
another wall you'll hit. That's another wall you'll hit.
Those walls. What is
with the walls? Let's give us doors. Give us doors so we can just open them. Right? Well, that brings me into the last one, which is reframing stressful situations.
Okay.
And
I'm not sure.
Yes. Well, this is something.
This is what I need you to teach me.
Yeah. This is something that I think should be everyone's goal from this episode is to learn how to reframe a stressful situation. And you need to do 1 and 2 well. So you need to be able to, you need to practice your gratitude and you need to notice joy and small moments throughout the day.
So that you're ready
to help you reframe stressful situations. And the way that I do this is, well, let's take a stressful situation for you.
Okay.
So what's something stressful in your life right now?
Doing this podcast with you.
Okay, great. Here we go. That is true. So yesterday
and
she
being thrown,
came over.
You want me to continue?
No, I don't want you to continue. Yesterday she came over and she's in a bad mood because she's trying to work. People are texting her.
Because I have a life.
She does. And in fact, let's just give a little background on what you do. She is a pharmaceutical sales rep.
Yes.
She's a CASA.
Yes.
And tell them a brief
so a
overview
CASA just stands for
is.
Court Appointed Special Advocate. When a child goes into the foster care, they assign a CASA to just be the eyes and ears of that child. And you stay with that child for a year and a half or however long it takes for them to end up in their forever home.
Yes. And then you also coach cheer privates.
For cheerleaders that are trying out.
Yes.
So
and I mean, how many sessions do you do a week?
Well, I have about 35 girls.
That's insane.
That I work with.
Yes.
It's a lot.
So she does do a lot of things. And then I call her up and I'm like, hey.
And then I'm your servant.
And then you're my servant. And then I call her up and I'm like, hey, we're doing a podcast together. You're sponsoring it. Get prepared.
Right.
And so
and
she
then
comes
wonders
over.
why I come in with a piece of paper with scribble scrap on it.
Yes. And so first what you're going to do is you're going to acknowledge the situation. You're going to be like, I'm stressed. I have a lot of things going on. Valid to feel stressed about it, right?
Okay. I got that.
But then what I like to do is I like to talk to myself in third person, like a child. And you're going to say, Liz, you have been busy all your life. You know how to juggle all kinds of things at once. You're a rock star at that. Actually, in fact, people notice that about you, that you're so good at balancing so many different things in your life. And you have an opportunity here to help people on the podcast. So you're going to pull yourself together and you're going to make it happen. And that's what I do by acknowledging and then reframing the situation. You're like, yes, I have a lot of stuff going on. I'm really stressed, but like, let's look at this from a different point of view.
I mean, not to change the subject, but when you ever talk to yourself in third person, do you ever say like, Jenny, fold the clothes on the couch?
No, I don't.
Jenny, clean your No, none. Okay.
I don't.
I was
And
just
actually,
wondering.
that goes a little bit back into my joy.
Oh, am I taking the joy
No,
away?
you're not taking the joy away. I feel like a lot of people feel that it looks bad if their house is a mess. Do I want my house to be a mess? No. But do I let it steal from my joy? Do I let all the laundry on the couch?
My joy. Does that count?
Nope.
Does that count? Okay.
Yes. No, it stresses my mom out. She comes in and she's angry. But I'm like, why are you
Let's
angry?
not go into my
You
anger.
know what? No, in fact, it's that whole perspective.
I could reframe
one
that.
Day you're going to miss this messy house. One day it's going to be all clean and you're going to be sad. I bet you're sad in your clean home. Are you sad
actually
in your clean
not.
home?
I'm not. Very happy.
Well, I'm happy in my messy home.
So going back to talking to yourself in the third person,
Yeah.
and kind of reframing the situation. I actually kind of do that. In fact, I can give you an example of driving across the causeway.
Yes, that's
when
what I do
it was
too.
in pouring rain. I could not see. I couldn't see. I was just hoping the other cars could see. But I would just just get through this 1 mile. Come on, Liz, you can do it. Okay, you got through that mile. Now we're going through another mile, and so that's kind of reframing.
Right, and
That's
you
kind of
have to-
pulling on what you just did, and I can do it again.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Taking things in small
I like
increments.
that, actually. And also pulling back on your past. You know, you've done this before. You can do it now. Get yourself together. I like it.
And another thing about reframing the situation and finding joy is my friend recently called me out on, or actually she didn't call me out. She was saying that she appreciates my positivity because she said that she so easily gets angry about something. And I just brush it off. It's not a big deal to me. And I think it is because I'm practicing these other things of feeling grateful, noticing joy. And I feel that I don't immediately default to negativity because anytime I ever lead with anger or negativity in any situation, I always regret it.
Yeah.
And that's with your kids when we know kids, right? And
Oh, yes,
you
we
feel
do.
frustrated and you immediately go into anger and you yell at them for something. Do you not regret it later?
I do.
Even though you
I
had to
do.
tell them that,
Yes.
do you not regret the way that you did it?
You do not know how many times I walk out of your house going, oh, I wish I wouldn't have said that, but I couldn't help myself. But I'm going to try again tomorrow to do better.
Yeah. And it's just about, you have to work on your delivery,
You do.
right?
And pause. Take a moment to pause. Is this really that important?
Yeah, right. And you can't,
And if it is, can I say it better?
right. And you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control the way that you respond to it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and in
Everyone
the end,
can.
with the way that you respond to it, the way that I like to think of it is this response going to make me feel better or worse? Because I want to stay better, right?
Yeah.
Is this
I could-
response going to make me feel bad later? And I'm not talking about important situations where you do have to deliver bad news. Sometimes it's vital.
Gosh.
Sometimes you gotta tell it like it is, right?
Yes. I could have used that yesterday with Paul. You're a day too late, Jen. I needed this talk yesterday because I kind of
guess what?
Oh,
You've got
today?
tomorrow. You've got tomorrow. And I actually have a really funny story about reframing a situation. Recently, Blake had a work trip and he started his own business about 3 years ago, but he's in the same line of work. And he was going on this big work trip. He was so excited for it. And they were going to play golf on the very first morning of this work trip. Recently, the airlines announced that they're not going to insure soft covers for golf clubs and bags. So he went and bought this new hard shell case and he was so excited about it. And he flew out that night. What happens when he lands?
The luggage isn't there.
No, his luggage is not there. So he's pissed because it's the middle of the night. His luggage isn't there. He doesn't understand it. He's supposed to play golf the next morning,
Oh,
right? He's telling me this
no.
story the next morning, by the way. And I said, well, did you win? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, what golf clubs did you play with? And he's like, well, I had to borrow them. And I was like, and what kind of better story is that? To say that you got to beat your friend with his own putter You could have beat him with your own golf clubs, but instead you beat him with his own putter.
I would not have thought to ask, did you? I'm going to applaud you right now.
And then I said,
that is above and beyond.
Right? And then I said, don't forget the plot here. You're upset that you're here in the middle of the night on this work trip and your golf clubs aren't here. Firstly, you get to play golf on your work trip. Secondly, you are here for your own business this time. Like, that's so cool that before you were there on behalf of somebody else, and this time you're here for yourself. So, look at it from a different perspective before you start getting your panties all in a bunch.
I love that question. Did you win?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it would have been bad if you didn't win.
Oh,
so
yeah.
thank goodness you did.
Yeah.
I usually count on Blake to win. Blake's a winner. I didn't marry a loser, right?
No, you did. Thank God. Neither one of us did, because that would not work for us. But that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah. So I hope that from all of these, the gratitude practices, finding joy in everyday moments, and reframing stressful situations, that this helps you in your everyday life and allows you to live happier. Do you think this is going to?
I do. And I think it's important, though, to start small. Don't expect
Very
to
small.
change overnight. Just maybe with a couple of things, and just continue to build and gradually make those habits. And then you'll see it increase. Yeah, I like it. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for changing me.
You're welcome. You're welcome for dedicating
I want you to see
this
if you
episode
notice
to
the
you.
change in a couple of months.
We'll see.
Okay.
I'm going to hold you to it. And without further ado, let's get into our Hot Mama Q&A. These are questions that you all submitted to us, and we love to hear from you. Anytime you want to ask us a question, just slide up into my DMs. I want to hear from you. This first question, what's something, we'll both answer this, I think. What's something you swore you would never do as a parent, but did anyway?
Am I going first?
Yeah, you're going.
Okay. And I thought about this the other day. So whenever my mom calls me and asks me, what am I doing? And I'm like, I am going to work. I'm doing this. Oh, sweetie, you are doing way too much. You need to slow down. And I'm like thinking to myself, Mom, what do you want me to do? I have to do all this stuff. And I swore I would never do that to my children. And before I can even stop the words from coming out of my mouth, when I'm talking to you, I hear myself saying the exact same thing. And I'm like, well, that's where my mom gets it from.
You literally do it to me every day.
I know. And
but everyone who listens to this podcast knows that I am completely unbothered by you. And I think it's because I know that you have my best interest in mind.
I do. And as the words are coming out of my mouth, I'm like, this is my mother. I am being my mother. But I'm like, I see why she says it now. You do way too much. So I am glad that you stepped down from lieutenant. Maybe my nagging helped. So I'm going to credit
it wasn't from you.
Well, I'm going to credit it.
And my answer to that, something that I swore I would never do, and I did anyway, is we let our kids sleep in the bed. I always wanted them to sleep in their own beds. I did. But, we moved and moved and moved when Brooks was a baby and because we were building a house and we kept renting and renting and renting. And it's hard to make them adapt to a new room. And on top of that, both me and Blake are pushovers. Blake is an even bigger pushover than I am. And the kids, they were sleeping in there. And when they sleep, we sleep, right?
Okay, but what if you have to go to their college dorm and sleep with them? I'm concerned here, Jenny.
Well,
okay, so when is it going to stop?
Everyone says that eventually kids will sleep in their own beds. And I will say this. I do not recommend to anyone to have their kids sleep in their bed. But I do know that I'll never regret it. I will never look back and think, ugh, I hated cuddling with them.
Okay, I know you don't hate it, but I'm glad that you see that we probably shouldn't have done it. We're going to fix that. Okay.
Yes, and we'll
and
touch
they'll
on
be
that
and they'll
too.
be in therapy one day.
They'll be in therapy for how much I loved them. For how much I loved them,
they can discuss that in therapy.
Yeah. What is something your mom did in her 30s that you would never do? What is something you did in your 30s that I would never do?
Exercise?
Shut up. Let's see. Something you did in your 30s. What were you doing when you were 30? Oh, well, I guess, what did you do in your 30s that you think I would never do?
I think you would probably just care more about fashion and be more.
Oh my gosh, I know the answer.
What?
Okay.
What?
Okay. You know what you did in your 30s that I would never do?
Tell me.
Sorry, this isn't meant to be mean, but you didn't really have a social life.
Oh.
And I think that may be why I'm overkill with it, because you didn't really seem to have that much fun when I was a kid. And I don't mean with me. It seems like you're having
Yeah.
fun with me,
Yeah.
but you didn't really have your own life. And I feel like that sounds rude. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying what I witnessed. You weren't
I didn't make that a priority.
prioritizing
Yeah, I didn't make
date
that a
night. You weren't prioritizing nights with your girls.
That's very true.
You didn't go get your nails done. You didn't do a lot of stuff for
Yeah.
yourself. And I think that I now allow myself to be a little bit more selfish. And that could just be the different generations.
No, and I'm glad that you do it. It's an important aspect. Yeah, I did. I made up for it. But yes.
Yeah,
okay,
well, that's something to say now. She has made up for it. You made friends.
I made friends.
She has friends now. They get together and have birthday
We
parties.
frolic
They
and
frolic around.
kiki
They
or
work
whatever
out
we do.
And
Yes.
and
So we've solved that problem.
yes, you have
And
friends now. You
I
have a social
enjoy
life.
seeing you, and I'm so glad that you stay with your childhood friends. Of course, Darren and I did a lot together too. But no, friendship and being with your girlfriends is super important. I'm glad you prioritize that.
Thank you. How do you balance work life and being present as a mother and not feeling like you're missing out with your kids? And I'll answer that first. I will say, because I feel like that kind of goes into the question that we just answered. I feel like I might be a little more selfish than a typical mother. And I mean that in the most positive way. I mean that over time, I've really learned to prioritize myself because I can't serve my kids in the best way unless I am feeling good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And feeling good about myself means not only working on my health and my fitness and my career, but that means enjoying myself. That means going out and doing things with friends. It means I actually don't like getting my nails done, but
I know. It's just you
I
have to
don't
sit
like
there.
it. But
It's
pampering
time-consuming.
myself a little. And do I think it's important to show up for my kids? Yes, but I show up even better when I am showing up for myself.
Mhm.
And how do you feel like you would answer that question?
It was such a different time. In fact, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers. We didn't have iPads. So we didn't have that right there in front of us begging for our attention. So it was easy to leave work behind and just focus on y'all or, home life whenever
Right.
I got home. So really, y'all have a much harder time being able to put that stuff away. It's very tempting when you're with your kids or your husband to want to look at that phone and then to address whatever situation you see. Anyone can get in touch with you at any time.
Right. But actually, speaking of, because of that, I do have two phones. I have my work phone and I have my regular phone. And I do think that really helps because working in the creator industry, we're never not working. And also just anybody who owns their own business, you're never not working.
Absolutely.
Now, I love what I do and I could always work. I could work all
Mhm.
day because I enjoy it. But that is how I'm able to separate it a little bit by having two separate phones. And I have been working on being more intentional with my time, making it to more of their practices and I've always gone to their games, but even going to their practices.
Mhm.
Like yesterday, I had to choose between going to run an important errand or going to Beck's first flag football practice. And I was in the car.
Did you
And-
find out when his game is? Because as of yesterday, you had no idea when your child had practice or when his games were. So
That is a Blake
Miss,
question.
I'm involved in my kids.
That is
That's
a Blake question.
Okay.
Blake is in charge of the sports.
Okay.
Blake is in charge of the sports.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. Now, speaking of me not living up to your standards, the next question is, what is something that y'all completely disagree on? I think a better question is, what is something that we do agree on? Because
we disagree on just about everything.
yeah, I
for the
would say
most part.
probably the biggest thing is money. We very much disagree on how we spend or save.
Or how
our
we
money.
don't save.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or how we don't save.
Yes.
And, to touch
And how
on
we
that,
don't spend and how we don't save.
right?
Yeah.
And let's talk about when I was growing up. When we would go out to dinner, we would split one appetizer and one entree. And all of us would split that. And then my mom would maybe have a Diet Coke. And we could have a sip of that Diet Coke.
And what did you have to drink?
Water.
That's right.
Always water.
That's right.
Always. We were always required to get water. So much so that when I had friends over, they would offer to pay for their own soft drink so they could have one. And it wasn't because we couldn't afford it. It was because she's frugal. She was like, or because she's like, you don't need that sugar.
Yes. So we definitely differ with money. Hopefully you're changing your ways to mine.
I'm changing my ways. Also, how another thing that we disagree on is the way that I raise my kids. Because
or lack of.
Or shut up.
I just complimented you and told you were doing such a great job. I don't remember what you were doing. Oh, the gratitude.
The gratitude. The
Right.
prayers at night.
The prayers at night.
Yes.
See, I'm grateful for that.
Thank you.
Little steps.
Little steps. And when I say that we disagree on how I raise my kids, she looks at it from a totally different perspective of how she raised me. I will say, you're not going to think this, but you had a tiny, teensy little bit of gentle parenting in you. And when I say gentle parenting in you, I mean that you did allow me to ask questions.
Mhm.
It wasn't, I didn't have to say, yes, ma'am, and that was it. And that's something that I want for my kids. I don't want them to be so submissive. I want them to question things.
Mhm.
Do I want them to be respectful? Yes. But I don't want just because somebody says this is what goes because I say so is the end all be all. You can ask questions in a respectful way.
And I think that you picked that up because I remember being at SSA when you were in high school talking to one of the counselors about how many demerits and detentions you had. And her one comment was, but Jenny is always respectful.
Yeah, I was.
So,
I got in trouble all the time
time
as a kid. And I mean, that was because I
couldn't shut up.
Yeah. For the most part, it was because I was talking and not listening.
Yes.
I wasn't that bad of a kid. They thought I was so horrible. I really wasn't. I really was. And in fact, you know what? All you teachers who said, this is the perfect time to tell them all, who said that I wouldn't get paid to talk all day to people and distract them from their work. Well, here I am.
Trust me, Miss LaRocca is very proud of you and she always believed in you and she practically raised you. So we are very thankful for her. So,
and as far as things that I tell my kids, I am very, I mean, how would you describe my parenting style? And don't say lacking.
All right. Okay. Let me find a better word. Do you have, look up on your phone, Google some other synonyms
I'm going to explain to how I parent in a way, I don't want to call myself a gentle parent, but I'm a gentle person. That's just how I
give
am.
An example. So instead of just saying no, you always want to give alternatives. I see nothing wrong with telling a child, no, you can't have that. You can't do that. And they have to learn the word no. Whereas now your kids come to me, they come over to my house and they say, well, let's make a deal, Lily.
Yeah, my kids are some great negotiators. But you know what? Negotiating will take you far in life. And so that's the thing. When I see them having these qualities, I'm like, well, I don't want to take that away from them. That's important in life.
Yes, a balance. Don't worry, they get the balance at my house. So we're all good.
I never... If there's anything I have to worry about them at your house, it's that you're being mean. And they do come home and they say that Lily was mean to me.
Because they heard the word no for the first time in their life.
Well, that concludes all of our questions for today. And thank you so much for hanging out with us. And remember that so much of the joy you experience in life comes from the joy that you choose to see. So go out there, soak up all those moments, and keep showing up as the hot mama you truly are.